for you guys, it's already evening, right? In Indonesia, it's still afternoon. You guys, it's already evening.
It's 8 p.m. here in New Zealand.
Wow.
Got one New Zealand caller.
It's 8 p.m. already. In Indonesia, it's only 3 p.m.
Nice. So we're nice and warm over there.
Yeah. Okay. Now it's 2 p.m. Sorry, 2 p.m.
2 p.m. Ah, cool.
Yeah. So there's a difference about six hours.
Yeah. Which part of Malaysia are you in?
Huh?
Which part of Malaysia are you in?
I'm in Indonesia.
Oh, Indonesia.
Yeah, Indonesia. In Jakarta.
Which part?
In Jakarta. Yeah.
Busy.
Yeah. You been here before?
I've been to Indonesia, but only Bali.
Yeah.
Not Jakarta.
Yeah, come to Jakarta also. Don't just in Bali.
Okay, next year. I'll come and see you here in Jakarta.
You going to travel in Bali? Go to the beach and everything?
Oh, we went last year. Went to Bali for a month and took a family. Got two young boys.
Have fun
went
in
to Bali and it was nice. Yeah, good life.
Yeah. It's a lovely place.
Yeah, mate. Yeah. And if you come to New Zealand, drop me a line. I'll show you around New Zealand.
Okay, it will be nice. Okay, so we will just starting to discuss. I hope that we will be discussing, and I'm ask permission for my English, my broken English. So
it's better than mine.
Okay, so we will have a discussion, especially because you, Kelly and Zaya, is already been through this pattern and already trained the APG, right? And Kelly, are you already also a neurosemantic trainer?
No, not a trainer. No, I've done ACMC.
Oh.
I've done NLP trainers with Enelta, but not neurosemantics.
Oh, okay. But you already go to a metacourse training in New Zealand?
No, Sydney. So done too. Yeah.
Oh, okay. When there's honey in it, is it?
Yeah. She was there. Yep.
Ah, okay. You will come to Indonesia next year. We will have one in Bali.
Trainers course or ACMC.
ACMC. Next year.
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah, I'd love to come across.
Yeah. Just come revisit or become a team leader maybe.
I was a team leader last year, so I did the first time the year before last, and last year I was a team leader. So we're good for next year.
Yeah. It's going to be this year, but because of this pandemic, it postponed to next year in Bali.
Yeah, I'm keen, man. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we're going to discuss. I'm sure that you guys already become a meta coach. So we will discussing the pattern. Like we already been scheduled that the pattern is about the intentionally stance pattern. Okay, I didn't use a PowerPoint. Okay. So maybe and have you using this in your coaching session, Kelly?
I've used the intentionality pattern, but it'd be good to. This is what we're doing. The intentionality pattern, is it?
Yeah, we are doing. Yeah, we were talking about intentionality pattern.
Yeah. I've used it a couple of times, but it'd be good to hear. I'm not quite sure if I had it exactly right, so I'm keen to hear you run through it.
Okay, so we all know that when we are using this intentionality pattern, is that how to get people aligned, from the what that he's to finding the highest value from what he or she is doing. This, for me, this pattern is very powerful, especially when there's some activity that I'm not engaged to, but I know it's important, but I'm not really engaged to. So that's by using this pattern, it really helped me to really engage to the activity and know the why that I need to do the activity. So that's why we are using this pattern for, right? Okay, so this pattern is for the third day from the APG, and like we all know that this is for we can use this for everyday activity the activity that we are enjoy and love, but we are not engaged into, but we know it's important. So this is the important part from this pattern, to understand that we know that this activity is important, but we are not engaging it with. That's when we can use this pattern. Let's say that I love sport. I know it's important to doing sport, but I keep procrastinating. I keep postpone. I give a lot of excuse for not doing the sports, although I know it's very important for me to do the sport. And this pattern will help me to finding the why, and then it will create an energy to go to the gym. We all know that this is pattern. The presupposition behind this pattern is that energy flow where attention goes, as directed by intention, right? So we have this attention, and what drives this attention is the intention. And most of the time that we are not very conscious with our intention. We just pay attention to everything. And yeah, in the training, or Michael Hall already said that because we are not attention deficit disorder, but we are intention deficit disorder. We can pay attention to a lot of things. We are not attention deficit disorder, but because we didn't know the intention behind the attention, that's the issue.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, so people who have got a really strong options meta program, this is really good for, right? Because they're running so many options and their attention is going everywhere. So so this will help them. Do you find anything, like I'm coaching one client now, and she's got so many things on her plate. She's got 3 kids and a job and a house, and she's so scattered. Do you find anything really useful to help them kind of
no, that's
so if I was coaching her and I'd say we're going to do the intentionality pattern, she'd say, well, everything's high value, you know, everything's a priority. Like, so for her, she's not even picking one thing.
That's the interesting, you know, that actually when we are using this, we can help them to find the highest intention. Usually the highest intention, I mean that when there's a lot of things that comes in my mind, but I cannot choose which is the important thing from that's why I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. That can be the optional meta program, but when we are doing this pattern, we are chunk up, right? We're finding what's the highest intention. And when you put it into, let's say, 4 activity in the
Different chunks.
in the ground, let's say in the first layer, we put, let's say I want to do, I want to go to mall, I want to take a cab, I want to what, let's say there's a 4 activity that I want to do. We can use this pattern to find what's the meaning from each activity. And then in the highest level, we can see that there's a common there's a sameness between each of them. By that, it will help me to find, if I want this, which one from this activity that really will make it the faster or the closest or the what that will help me to gain this highest attention.
Nice. Yeah. So chunking out, finding the overall, the highest goal, the highest intention.
Yeah.
And then which one of those will get you there the fastest.
Yeah. So that's the intention. That's the one that I want to achieve, right? So by to achieve this intention, what's the attention that will help me achieving this? Will help me to live this intention. Will help me to gain this intention.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome, man. That's good. Cool. Thanks for that.
Okay. So that's the that's the thing that we can use to, right? Okay. Because in this intention, there's a Pak Sam. Pak Sam, thank you for joining.
Yes.
Okay, Pak Sam, bantu Pak Sam. Okay.
Pakai bahasa Indonesia gitu ya.
Okay, there's a Pak Sam from Indonesia also, and there's a Kelly, and then there's a Jaya. Halo Pak Sam. Okay. Okay, so we continue. Yeah, just add on if there's something need to correct me also, please. So is there any that you guys have another thinking? Just let me know. So we will do a lot of discussion. I will share my experience, and Kelly and the others can also share your experience or what you're thinking about this pattern also. Okay. Okay. So yeah, we can say that this pattern is that we want to find the intention. I mean, as a human being, I love the words that the distinction is that the attentional life, attention is that we are primary thing, that the one that we see, the one that we hear is the attention. Where we put our attention today, let's say we put our attention in front of a laptop, we put our attention in front of a glass, we put our attention on a food. The question is, what's made this attention to that? Right? Now, that's we talk about the intention. So the attention life is the life of animal or small child because they didn't know why they are doing it, they just do. Right? And to be human, this is the interesting that we must live intentionally. It means that we live by our intention, from our highest intention. Because of this intention, then what's the attention that we need to put on? Because if we didn't know our intention, if from my experience, if I didn't know my intention, that's a lot of things that I want to have. That's a lot of things that I want to do. So that's I cannot separate which one is the most important thing for me to do. Okay. So when attention are aligned to highest intention, this is interesting that you will have a laser beam focus. Once I've my own experience doing this to myself, that when I said that I'm too lazy to go to the gym, but I know it's very important for me to go to the gym. I used to be go to the gym every day, but then there's a moment that I'm very lazy for a couple of years. I'm very lazy to go to the gym. So after I learned this, and then I'm using it to myself, I really remember I'm driving from my home to the office, doing this pattern to myself. I asking, you know that, okay, I want to go to the gym. I know it's important. So why is it important for me to go to the gym? And then I keep layering. I find the highest intention that going to the gym is not just about we get sweat, get a good body. It's not just about that. But by go to the gym, actually that's a responsible for me as a child to my parents. And then wow, okay. And then that's a more highest intention, more spiritual intention for me. So that's create energy for me. It's really, I can feel it into my body. That's this energy. Then it's become like a laser beam focus for me to go to the gym. I know the why that I need to go to the gym. So I go to the gym. It's not just that doing this sweat thing to go to just help, but that's a lot higher. That's a higher intention that drive me, that become the intention for me to go to the gym. So I have, so this pattern is really can help us to the activity that we know is important, but we still feel like don't have the energy to go there. Okay. So that the elicitation question that we can use to our client or to ourselves is that what that I need to do because we know that it's important. This is very the words is the distinction for this pattern is that we know it's important, but still we don't have the energy to doing it. Like, so we didn't do this pattern to any activity, right? Because that we want to try, but we pay attention. Okay, I know this is important, but I still don't have the energy to doing it. I still feel like don't have the energy to doing what I need to do. I cannot put my attention to it, and so that's we're using this pattern to help us, so we can have the energy to put the attention to the activity. Okay. So what do you need to do because important for your long-term success, yet it does not feel important. We know that it's important, but it doesn't feel important yet. We didn't feel the motivated. It's very hard for us to maintain the focus. Okay, so that's when we are using this pattern 4. I believe that we experience this kind of condition, right? We know this is important, but still like we don't feel motivated to do it. We don't feel it like really important to do it, right? We experience this kind of activity, we can condition. I still now sometimes experience this condition that I know this is I need to do it. This is important for me, but still I didn't do it. That's when this pattern can come in to help me to identify why is it really important for me to doing it. So that's why in the meta coaching we put it in the number 3. After we know the what, we need the why, so it can drive them to really achieving it. So they can have the laser beam focus to really pay attention to the what that they want to achieve. Right? Okay. Okay. And how we are doing it? Yeah. Actually, for me, this pattern is quite simple because most of the time we are asking like, is it important and why is it important? So that two kind of question that we are keep repeating it. So first we identified, of course, that we identified what activity that we know is important, but it doesn't feel important. So in our body, we didn't feel important, but we know it is important. So like in the cognitive layer that we know that, okay, I know this is important, but my body hasn't feel that this is important. We know that we need to synchronize our thinking and feeling, like to create this kind of emotion that will drive us to go. So we need to identify first what's the activity that is important, but we didn't feel important. And then we explore the importance of the activity. And this is where we are going to do the question that, is it important? Why is it important? Is it important? Why is it important? Later on, we will do the activity together, okay? And we're going up until a few layers, 5, 7, 8, 10 layers. Right? And then we step into the highest intention. We really associate with the highest intention. Okay. And then we link it. Yeah, we know that this metastating pattern that we link it with the primary context, with the activity that the first that we know is important, but we didn't feel important. So after we associate with the highest intention, and then we put it into the primary context, and then commission ourselves, take ownership that this is my choice, that this is mine, and future pace. Okay. So actually, this is a very simple. For me, it's very simple pattern, but it's very powerful pattern. Do you guys have any experience with this pattern? Maybe Jaya or Carrie, how do you experience yourself with this pattern?
I think I did APG. I actually ran it for a client. A little bit of a workshop, and got one lady up, and I kind of ran it for her. And for her, she wanted to run a marathon. She's an older lady. But she, saying kind of similar to your example, she was procrastinating and wasn't motivated to go to the gym, and was kind of like, what's important about this? What's important? And she's like, oh, I want my health, and then all these other kind of things. And then what's the most important thing? She's like, I want to be alive longer for my kids.
Yeah.
And as soon as she identified that, she welled up with tears, and she's like, I don't want to die. I've got these health conditions. I don't want to die early. I want to see my daughters grow up older. And as soon as we had that, she was like really like locked onto it.
Yeah. That's the powerful of this pattern. It like balm, make you realize that there's something really highest intention than just doing what you think that you want to do.
Yeah, it was like that. I had to ask her like, I don't know, 7, 8 times, and then when she I don't think she even knew it herself. And when she said it, her whole face just kind of just like really opened up, and she was like, "Oh wow!" Like, it was like the face kind of flourished.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. And Jaya, do you have this experience with this pattern?
Yeah, I did have experience on myself. Yeah, so my feeling was, like the same as Kelly talked about the lady. She was crying. I cried as well when I feel my highest intention in every cell of my body. It's very powerful. Yeah, it's a very powerful pattern.
Yeah, it's very, when we are really experiencing it, the body, like, wow, it's like, we are flying into the moon, when I have that kind of realization. Okay, thank you, Jaya. Okay. Oh yeah, there's Hani and Pak Samiton. Pak Samiton, do you maybe want to share something, Pak, about this pattern? Okay, seems like they are not in. Okay, so yeah, we will, because I already know. Oh yeah, Pak Samiton, any experience about this pattern, Pak, that you can share with us? Intentional pattern?
Okay, sorry. I just try to think about how this pattern ever when I'm finishing my study, master degree study, that I use this pattern to help me to finish my study. So this pattern is useful, and this pattern give me the right meaning why I should finish it, why I should do my schedule, why I should do everything. So it make my mind clear about this. So that is my contribution for you.
Okay, thank you, Pak.
What you did, so good.
Good.
I tried to do it.
For sharing your experience. Thank you, Pak. Okay, like let's. Is there any just to concern from you guys part that any maybe talents or what's about this pattern when you are doing it to yourself, or maybe when you are doing it to coach the others? Is there any talents or any things that we can discuss? Is there?
I think I had a challenge. I'll just run through the process again and try and think what it was. I've got my workbook open. It's like I've got the master prac one. Is it still? I've got pattern 3, accessing personal genius. It's an intentionality pattern. Is it a different pattern number?
Actually, intentional accessing personal genius is after this pattern.
Oh, okay, that's weird. Oh, so here's intentionality.
It's personal genius.
Yeah.
It's after this pattern.
Yeah, got it. So. I'm in the master prac manual. It looks a bit different here.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know. In master prac, there's it's combined into. I didn't know if master prac. Are they include into one pages, or there's a separate assessing personal genius only?
Yeah, and the master prac manual I've got, it's got APG and master prac all in one manual.
Okay. Yeah, now, but I didn't know if in master prac what's the pages. Usually in the beginning of it, is it?
Yeah. So it's page 64 in the master practice manual.
Okay.
But
Yudi,
don't worry about me.
Yudi,
Yeah.
Yudi.
Oh yeah.
Hi,
Yeah,
Kelly. Honey here. How are you doing?
that's Honey. You can see you.
Hi,
Yeah.
Kelly.
Hi, honey. Good to see you.
Congratulate with your project 4C.
Oh, the C4. Thank you. C4 accelerator.
Yeah.
C4.
So just a little bit idea. Do you think it's helpful if you just share your screen to UD? I think I assume you are reading your master practice pages. Is that what you're doing now?
Okay.
Maybe you just show it to Wahyudi, because Wahyudi is one of the trainer, a consistent NLP trainer in Indonesia, but he may not able to remember what page.
Also, the master is different, huh?
What year is this, Kelly? Kelly?
2019, last year.
Oh.
Oh. Oh, okay.
Is it? I need to
Wahyudi
check.
should know better than me.
No, I need to check it because it's very different from my from what I used to use. As
Yeah. Sorry, I mean, I don't want to confuse things. Because up here it's got like identify the genius state you wish to access, develop as a coach practitioner. I mean, it's got the why is it important?
Yeah, actually the step is still the same. The elicitation question is also the pattern step is the same, right? It's identified. Except this one is already put into a certain context. Right? It's already put in a context to develop you as a coach and as a practitioner.
Yeah. So if it was like, say as a client, would it be identify? So it wouldn't even be state, would it? Like your one like identify what's important to you, like what the goal is, like going to the gym, running a marathon, passing your driver's license, whatever it is.
Yeah. So what's the activity? Identify the activity that we know that is important, but it doesn't feel important yet, right?
So it wouldn't be state, it'd just be like identify the goal, identify the highest intention, like this client. It might be caring for her kids, or it might be creating more harmony in the house. Why is it important? Why is it important? Why is it important?
Yeah, we want to find the highest intention from that activity, like run marathon, cleaning the house, then we find the highest intention from that activity.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
So it's actually the step is still the same. It's just the how you I didn't know the English. So the layout is very different.
I think the structure, right? The layer, right? You just keep asking the layer. Is that what?
The manual. The layout of the manual is different.
Or the layout of the manual.
And the content of the handout is already put in a context as a coach and as a NLP practitioner. So it's more in a specific context, the question. That's identify the genius state that you wish to access and develop as a coach and practitioner. So it's already put in a one context. In a accessing personal genius manual, it's more general context.
Yeah.
Right.
So
okay.
Step two is identifying the why, the highest why. Why, and then they identify the highest why, and then that's why. So then it's like, and then it's probably best if we go off your process rather than mine. Is it all the whys, and then is it then in your one as well? Is it also what's your state when you identify your highest why? Is it how you're feeling? What's your state at this highest? Is it the same on your one as well?
Yeah.
So when we're talking to a client who might not even know what a state is there another way of asking that question? Like saying, so when they've, what's your biggest why? What's the most important reason this goal is important to you? It's creating love for my family. Would we kind of say, rather than what's your state, would we say like, what are you thinking and feeling? Or what's another question we could ask for that?
Okay. In Indonesia, I seldomly asking about what is the most important. I just do it layer by layer to help them find their own. Actually, I'm using that because I don't directly asking is what's the most important one. I patiently asking layer by layer. Okay, and then we just ask about why is it important, and when there's a feeling, I ask what's that feel.
Yeah.
And what's the I didn't use what state are you in when you are thinking about that. I just because when is it important and when is that important. I didn't do the feeling in a very first 5 or 3 or 4 layer. I wait until into a much higher, when we can see that's already a difference, because we want them
semantic gesture.
When they already have this kind of strong of feeling, then that's the moment that we want them to really feel that feeling. You know what I mean? Let's say I'm using my example that going to the gym, right? Okay, so the first thing I want to do gym, but it's already seems not that important as before. So I asking myself, okay, go to the gym. Is it important now? Yes. Okay. Why is it important for me go to the gym? Right? Oh yeah, because I will get healthy by go to the gym. Okay. So is it important for me to go to the gym? Oh yes. To be healthy? Yes. Why is it important? It's because that I can do a lot of activity by being healthy. Okay. So is it important for me to can do a lot of activity? Yes, that because why is that important? Because by able to do a lot of activity healthily, it can at the moment it can generate more income for me. Okay. Now at that moment, I already know that, but it's still that feeling still not that strong yet. Okay. So is it important for you to have create more income? Yes, that's very important for me. Why is it important? Okay, so at that moment I can save more. Okay, and why is that important? At that moment, because I can give back to my parents. At that moment, there's already that kind of strong feeling. That's where I will go to. Okay, so when you say that, how is that feel to you? So I choose when to ask what's that feel? We need that question, but we need to choose the right moment, especially there's already showing some strong feeling. So when we ask, how do you feel? They really, they got this strong feeling. Okay. Then after that, we're going up again. So does that feel important for you now? Yes. Okay. Why is that important? Then it will make the feeling more, the feeling of important more stronger.
Yep.
So the idea is you just keep asking why. What is important? Why? Why? Why, right, Ruth? Yeah. And at the moment, at certain high, then you start to feel and you check what does it feels to you, right?
Yeah. And obviously you're calibrating their facial expression and their kind of, their physiology. And then what's the most
from your experience?
That's
from your experience teaching or coaching, how many layers that you usually find people can hit really the highest why? 5 times, 7 times, 10 times?
Depends on the people.
I know it depends.
Yeah, but most of the time is oftenly is 7 to 10 layers. Most often.
Okay.
Usually at the first 5 layers. Hey, how Ivan? Thank you for joining. Okay. I got backup who's already good in English.
I thought it was 3 o'clock. I was waiting for it. But
Okay. So usually, I'm using, neurological level, right?
Yeah.
Robert Dill,
neurological level. Okay. So usually that the first thing that we are asking, we know that first 3 or 4 layer is mostly about sometimes about the environment. It's more about the having things, but we know that the strongest is that when it can go to the identity, the role, the identity, and especially it can go to the spiritually. I mean, in Indonesia, right? So that's our culture. I mean, so I'm using that as my reference when I'm asking. It's more of if it's still too about having or doing things. For me, it's not that I need to ask more. So it can go to the identity and a spiritual layer.
Okay, cool bananas. That sounds cool. And then that must be important to you. Oh, so then when they've got to that higher state, then it's the so welcoming these good feelings, these meanings, and just be with those higher level feelings a bit. So that's when you kind of almost, they're kind of entranced, you're trancing them. Yeah. Okay, welcome those in, step into it, really breathe it in, absorb it. You like that? Yes. Let those feelings grow and intensify as you recognize this is your highest intentional stance.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then this is what you're all about.
Yeah. And with this kind of intention, now how you see what you want to do this. I mean, to the primary context, like the activity that he or she want to do, but still not doing. So by realizing this highest intention, by knowing, we can, the way this is the moment that we can repeat the layer by layer. When you are doing this, so it's important because this, and this is important because of this, and this is important because of this. So we can repeating it to them, so they can really feel it like a layer upon a layer. So they can like building this layer. So the body still, the feeling of important is growing much stronger and stronger. So until we finish at the highest level, okay, and then now with this all value, or with this all importance, how do you see the things that you want to do?
Okay, cool. And then step number 4, when it says, in just a moment, when you're ready, I want you to open your eyes and look at your genius state, genius event. Was that your goal? So it's like, when you're ready, open your eyes and look at your goal afresh. Look at your goal now with these higher intentions in mind.
Yeah. So with this highest intention, we are seeing our goal.
Yeah, nice. And take these highest intentions and look at the content and notice how it aligns your attention, so your attentions can now serve and do your intention.
Yeah. So nice. That maybe if you want to add something, feel free for it.
This is what you use in WFO questions. Question number 3. So the last time when I was in PCMC, Michael said, when you do question number 3, this is exactly what you do. It's only importance, the why of importance. So this is where you get the motivation, and this is where you get the intentionality. And then one thing that I can add is probably this. I just found this out from Michael. I think, I forgot which one. I think it's Getting Real or something. What's the difference between intention and intentionality? So those 2 words are actually different. When you're saying your intent, that means you have a will, you want to do something. And of course, this goes back to Rollo May, where you have intention and meaning, it becomes a will. But intentionality is something that you created. So when you say you have intentionality, it means with your meaning-making powers, that's why Power Zone is the first, you create that intention, so that when you see that thing that you want to do, you can see it with the intentionality eyes. You can see it with the states and the meta states that you created. That way you create the motivation to actually do it. So I think That's fascinating because I've never heard that kind of explanation before in other books or even in APG. Right? I guess that's what's different, because what Michael said is intention is different with intentionality. So I think it's just fascinating.
Yeah, just summarize the intentionality definition again. Intentionality is
when you create with your meaning-making powers the intention to do something. So it doesn't happen just like that.
Ah, nice. I'll make a note of that.
So that's like
effect, right? It's an effect.
It's a awareness process where you literally, with your awareness, you create that intention within you. So you're giving value, you're giving something of importance to do this stuff. It's not like when you see something, you know it's important, but you create that importance in yourself. Thus, it creates the will, and it creates the motivation for you to actually do the things that you want to do. That's why it gives you the laser beam focus.
Yeah, nice. And with that laser beam focus, then that would also give them the capacity not be attentional to all the distractions.
Yep.
And then they got the laser focus on that, then they can block out the 1,000 other plates they're spinning.
Yep. And looking back from the book, I think from the matrix model, from the book matrix model. So intention comes from the word intentus. It means to stretch out. So it implies action. So it implies something that you want to do because you give it value. Therefore, you stretch yourself out to actually do it. And that's from the matrix model.
Okay.
Yep.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
So
have you given them the caveat for intentionality?
no.
So the caveat with intentionality, I think this is also fascinating. Sometimes you have conflict between the things that you want to do and the things that you want to do. And both of them are actually right, because in both of them, you have the intentionality and you have that intention to do things. So what's making the difference is your willingness to actually decide. So therefore, you need to decide with your responsibility, with your power zone, you need to decide which one you want to do. Therefore, the intentionality then becomes unobstructed with things that can go RE and can go to any other attention. Because as a human being, you will always have intention to do something, even in the things that you don't actually like. And that's why behind every action, there is always a positive intention. There's always a positive intention. That means you need awareness to actually know what kind of intention you want to bring and what kind of intention you want to create for you to be able to reach your goal.
So what's I'm just making some notes, and was the first part, was it actually deciding what you want to put your intention to? Is that what you said?
So you need to actually, after you make that intentionality, then you need to decide.
Yeah.
So if you know from the well-formed outcome, the first stage of outcome is always a wish. After a wish, usually starts from dream. After a dream, that becomes a wish. From a wish, it becomes a goal. From a goal, then it becomes intention. And from intention to move forward, you need to decide and then do the action. Then that loop is complete. So you're not only dreaming, you're not only wishing, you not only have a clear goal with WFO, but you have that intentionality to do what you are going to do by deciding and then having action to do it. Yep.
Oh, nice one. That's awesome.
Interesting. Thank you, Pan, for sharing it. Okay. And Zaya, do you have any things to share or?
No, I don't.
Okay. Okay. So I believe this pattern is very powerful. And do you guys want to run the pattern on your own, or already know how to run it? Already know how to run the pattern? how to do the pattern?
I'm okay myself, but everyone wants to do it, that's fine. I've got another question though, but it's a little bit off script. It's about another pattern, but while I've got you guys here, it'd be good to ask a question.
Please, feel free.
Hey, so what's your views on the most effective pattern to get someone in their highest state, to really be in their absolute best state on demand? Is it simply creating a state, or is it the power zone state, or is it another one of the APG patterns? What's the most effective pattern to run to really help someone design a powerful state and lock it in on demand and use it on demand?
Okay, I share my opinion first, then Fan, you add on, yeah, or any others, or Jaya, or maybe Kelly also can add on another thing, and Muhani also. For me, like, I cannot say that that's the most effective. I mean, we cannot, let's say, okay, from this 15 or 14 pattern, then we choose this one. It's like a developing, right? It's like add on from a pattern to a pattern to a pattern. So if you want to just say, okay, what's the most effective from this 14? It will be very hard for us to, I mean, because it didn't work that way. Because to have a higher state, we need yeah, we know that interconnected, right? There's no one thing create one. There's a several thing create one. So to have the most effective state or what, you need a several, let's say a several pattern that will help you to create this higher state. Of course, that we need the fundamental, the power zone, the able to saying yes or no, the self-esteem. We need that kind of pattern also inside ourselves, so we can develop a resourceful state, a higher state. And then also in the middle, we also need, because there's also some kind of conflict or trauma, we also need this dragon slaying or emotional pattern or everything. And then we also need this highest intention to help us to find our highest intention. So in my opinion is that we need a several, I mean, from the 15, yeah, it also can depend on what kind of state that we want to build. And then we can choose what's a few patterns that can be used to help them to create the resourceful state.
Okay, so it might be so it might be, I don't know, a couple of, 3 or 4 of them bolted together, getting flow.
Yeah, that's my thinking. Maybe Irfan or some more add on something.
I think for me that's unanswerable question. And that's what Michael said. Because when you say the most, it implies there's one thing that is the silver bullet, which there is not. Again, what Yudi said, it's all systemic. So you're working with a human, therefore it's a systemic consciousness. When you say you want to create a state, well, we can go back to the definition of state itself. It's a mental state, it's an emotional state, it's a physical state. And those things are combined into one, what we call state. Therefore, if you want to have a very empowering state, that means it goes back to whatever meaning you're giving. And again, meaning by definition is what you hold in mind. So therefore, if you want to create a state, whatever you put in the mind, and if it's connected with the feel and with the body, and it creates that energy of a state, then I think that's what you're looking for. And the way you go there, again, what you just said, is depending on context. You can go either way, and you can find suddenly somebody become a very powerful in state. Because whenever Michael says always, you're always one step away from transformations. Therefore, you cannot actually define is anybody in most powerful state, because whenever they are in a state, state habituates.
Yeah, sorry, I might have, to clarify my question, it wasn't what's the most powerful state, it was more, apologies if maybe I spoke too fast. The question was, what's the most effective pattern to create a state? Yeah, was there one or two patterns to create whatever state, confidence, self-assuredness, compassion, whatever? Is out of the patterns, is there any specific patterns that really from your experience you find the most useful?
Well, then if that's the question, the only way to create a state is using the royal roads, which is mind and body.
Yeah.
For me, what I like is to coach the body, because state is anchored in the body. So whenever they create it cognitively, and they need to be able to feel it in their body. Therefore, that state, then they know how they feel that state, and they become anchored. So I don't think it's a pattern, it's more like the way to get a state. And because pattern is just the tools for you to get to whatever your client wants. If it's a dragon, then you use the dragon dancing. If it's a concept, then you just use the meta-state concept. If it's like a focus, then you use intention. But the way to create the state on each of the pattern is actually the same. So it's either using cognitive or using the emotions and using the body. And experience, I think it's the best way is when you be able to coach the body itself. So when you say, you want to feel compassion, okay, how does that feel in your body? Sometimes people just don't feel it. They just say it as a lip service as to the coach. And that's why coaching the body is one of the skills that is very high on that level. I think it's level 3 or 3.5. So coaching the body of that coachee to actually feel the state and know the difference that makes the difference for him to be able to do whatever he wants to do.
Can I share some thought? I remember Michael say that every client always came with a state. And if you ask me about the pattern, well, I'm not really teaching APG, Kelly, but I just try to use common sense. Michael told me once, I think told us in the last conference that we have, just simply using basic questioning. And I remember she said that the difference between NLP in neurosemantic about state is we never make the state go away. You hold the state, and you qualify it with another state that you want. If this is a primary and this is a meta, depend on how we ask the question, and it will become a gestalt. So it's not about pattern, but it's about understanding the theory of state. Because I asked once that how about if the client coming with some negative state, we try to provoke him with a totally different state. And I say, if let's say the client cannot handle it, so see, Michael say, maybe we need to learn back to the practice how to handle state, because that is once that you can asking a question that amplify the state, or you negate the state. Amplify, negate, you interrupt the state. So it depends what do you need. But the first key is you never make the state go away. So if let's say I came to you and say, Kelly, I need your help. I'm really afraid. Tomorrow I will have a presentation stage. I will speak in front of 1,000 and I'm afraid. So just hold the afraid, and depend how you ask the question, what state do you need to put in? Is it an exciting fear? Or is an adventure fear? So it's more about asking question. But the skill is understanding the theory of state. Just want to share my thought.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, honey.
Thank you.
And the term for that is, I think, what I said, qualifying and texturing the state.
I can't hear.
Yeah.
So one
Qualifying
question,
or texturing.
qualifying.
Quantifying and texturing. Texturing.
Qualify.
So the question that Michael used in that conference is like this. If say, I'm stressed. Kelly, I'm stressed. Jaya, I'm stressed. So the question, what state can you bring to your stress? You start asking the meta. You invite them. Maybe you need to layer it several times until it becomes a gestalt.
Oh, yeah. So bring acceptance to my stress, or bring humor to my stress.
Yes, exactly. And as a gestalt, so how do you call it? How do you qualify it? Oh, maybe I should oh, this is adventure for me. So the adventure becomes gestalt for that person in that context. So that's what I learned from Michael.
That's it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, and
Thank
For
you.
me, I just want to share my own experience. I did, you know, as I said, I did this intentionality pattern on myself. And also speaking to what Kelly asked, for example, when I talk in front of people, I feel nervous, right? And then if I feel nervous, I think of my highest intention. So my highest intention is love for myself, for other people, so that I can accept my own nervousness. And then I want to bring some compassion instead for myself. And then when I think of, because also Ivan said it's about coaching in the body. So during the, you know, the state induced to myself, I feel that compassion in myself, in my body. So it's easier to get up in front of people, just talk. Yeah, that's my experience.
Yeah, beautiful. Bringing compassion. That's nice.
yeah.
So Jaya, you are saying that you're using your intention to invite, to qualify whatever your primary state. Am I understanding correctly?
Yeah. My trick is my highest
Your
intention.
trick.
And then
Okay.
also just, you know, accepting my primary state. So my next layer of meta state would be compassion. Because why, for example, why I'm here, because I can, you know, share my thought on whatever, because I have love for myself, for other people as well. So it's all about love, for example, you know, it's kind of this, the highest intention. So bringing
That is awesome.
that with the compassion state. So like nervousness just go away.
Thank you for that's awesome.
So that brings me to another question. Though. It tricks my curiosity. When you say that, Zaya, when you bring love, does that mean the love become a primary state? Then you bring another meta state in love with compassion. Does that still make love your highest intention, or does that make compassionate love your highest intention?
My highest intention is love. I want to share my love other people. And then if I share other people, everyone would get benefit from it. So when I think about that, I have this full of compassionate feeling on myself. Oh my God, how fantastic person I am, you know, this sort of things. And then starting to love myself again. And then again, that just manifests again to other people. Yeah, it's a speech or whatever. So it's like intention is love, and then the state is compassion, I think.
Could it be that if I draw it something like this? So when you say your highest intention is love, then when you share with other people, then you feel. So from that highest intention of love, your state is compassion.
Yes, compassion to everyone.
Then you bring the love not just to the people, but you bring the compassionate to yourself with another love.
Yeah, and then I can able to share. Yeah.
So this becomes the system.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, seems like in my body.
Yeah. So here's the question that I've been wondering with this intentionality. So I don't know, maybe we can discuss this here. Can the highest intention, which is the state of love and compassion, go down the levels and become a primary state? Well, my reasoning behind this is if this become a gestalt state, because usually there's a lot of frame within the frame to find this highest intention, which is the value frame. Then when it becomes into a primary, all these frames are now gestalted and embedded into one state. Then if it becomes primary, then can you, well, of course, let's go back to the reasoning we have, self-reflexivity. That means we can then bring another intention to our highest intention. Does that make sense? What do you think?
So what I'm hearing is you asking, so through my compassionate state, I can cover my primary state, right? Like nervousness. And then how I can, whether I'm able to go another state, is that what you're asking? Am I able to bring another state on top of that compassion?
Yeah, because the way you say it is when you have that love and compassion, then you have love for yourself. So that means love here, your highest intention, is being textured by another love, which is multi-ordinal, love of self, and then being textured again by love to others. So by that reasoning, I think, so this
love,
is my guess.
so it's love squared.
So I haven't confirmed this with Michael, but I think your highest intention can become a primary. If it's on another level, then you can bring another highest intentions to your highest intention, and it becomes love squared, or love to the third power. And then this will create another gestalt. I think it's following the self-reflexivity pattern.
Yeah.
But I think the way you do it will be different.
Right.
Because when you have that love of love of love, the way you share will be different. Although it shows up in your body by the name of compassion. So, well, this is just my guess. I don't know if it's right or wrong. What do you guys think? So my theory, or the way I think, the way I conclude this is highest intention can one day become a primary state. And maybe because this is a primary state and it habituates, sometimes you forgot your highest intention. And when it's just say a word, when you don't feel that love, you can just say, well, I'm doing this for love. But when it's not in state, then you're actually using your highest intention as a primary state instead of a meta state.
Yeah, you're right. I think, Ivan. The more practice, like state I want to bring, that which is compassion, the more I feel like it seems I am more able to live with that compassionate state just in my everyday life, just every moment of my life, I have this feeling of compassionate state. Yeah, that's true. In the form for my case, yeah.
Right. Well, because this happens to me when I say my highest intention is learning, and then I find myself, I think the past 2 or 3 days, I don't enjoy learning. So I feel, no, this is my highest intention. Why don't I feel that? Then when I dig deeper, then I realize that my highest intention now becomes a primary state, which is just a word, which is not that intentionality. I need to bring it again into intentionality to actually do it again. So that's the background. I don't know. What do you think? What the others think?
Is that,
especially
Irfan,
Indonesian?
Listening to your explanation, is that possible? Because we are being teach contextual. So when you find in certain contexts, you find your highest intention. But if you do not follow it up with another pattern, let's say mind to muscle, or use it specifically for your context, it's remain in our part of our layer only. It's not really, it's just become a knowledge. So what I'm trying to say is, if you want to use it, whatever state, whatever your highest intention, whatever state, I think we need to be able to operationalize it. We use it in what context? And perhaps you need another pattern to embody it, to prevent it become a primary state in certain time.
I think that's one way to think about it. But as I'm talking it out, I think the problem is in the confusion of levels. When I say learning, at what level I'm saying this learning? Is it on my primary level? Or is it on my value level? Or is it my identity level? Or at what level I'm saying this highest intention is? So context is one thing. And I think it's about the levels of the mind that I'm talking about learning. Because learning itself can become an activity. It can become an identity as a learner. It can come as an intention, something that's important to me. So if I reflect back to this past couple of days, I think it's more, it's not like the highest intention, although I say I love to learn, but I think it's more like a chore, something that I do without that meaning itself. And I think it depends on context. The context is because I need to do this training, which I don't quite enjoy. So it dampens the learning itself. I think this is just the fascinating facets of human systemic consciousness.
I sense that when we have a highest intention, we need to indexing it. We need to indexing it either to the specific context, like you say, to the identity, or then if we do not do it, then we need to be very clear. Learning itself, like you say, learning itself could be what? Do you want to proclaim you are a learner, you are a lifelong learner? If yes, in what context? In all contexts? Maybe no. And so I guess, that's what to say. I think we need to indexing, even that is a highest intention. That's only my So at that moment, sometimes other pattern to make sure that it apply to certain. I don't believe highest intention can really apply to all contexts. Maybe sometimes we miss that because what we thought is a highest is governing us, but it's not.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think in a sense, at which level, there's one thing. And of course, because intentionality is the gateway for you to learn the matrix. It's where Michael explained about the attractor, and it's about the matrix model. So I think it's about where you put that intention within your matrix.
Yeah.
As you know, you have a lot of selves. If you bring your temporal self in time, then you have that intention for that one. If you bring your learning as a behavior, then you have that highest intention in that one. And if you have that your others or social self, then you have another intention in that one. So I think you're right. Probably indexing it will help.
And that's what I call sometimes a soft generalization. We generalize without we realize it.
Yeah. It's a bias.
Okay. Hopefully, Jaya, that helps. Kelly, hopefully that helps.
Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
As Michael said, if you're confused, that means it's good. You're learning.
Yeah, nice one.
Yeah.
Okay, Lu? Lu? Where's Lu? Okay. Okay, I think there's no other things that we will end this session, today's session. Thank you, Kelly, and thank you, Jaya. Thank you, Irfan. Thank you, Hani, and thank you, Lu, for the learning together. Hope you guys have a nice day. Have a nice night.
Okay.
Awesome. You much
Thank
appreciate it.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.